Welcome to Africa Premium News, your front row seat to Africa's power, progress, and truth. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because here, you don't just watch the news, you witness history unfold. Imagine a stretch of steel tracks slicing through Africa's northern plains, connecting ancient trade cities with the modern capital. The desert heat shimmers over newly laid rails, and as the first locomotive rumbles forward, its engine hums with more than power. It hums with geopolitics. This is not just another train. It is a symbol of Africa's rising ambition, a statement of intent, and a signal to the world that the balance of global influence is shifting once again toward the continent. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has just secured a massive loan from the China Development Bank, a deal worth roughly $255 million to finance the long-delayed Kano-Kaduna Railway. On the surface, it's a story about infrastructure, connectivity, and progress. But beneath the surface lies a deeper narrative, one of global strategy, national sovereignty, and the quiet tightening of economic and political ties that could redefine Africa's future for generations to come. For decades, Nigeria's dream of building a modern rail network has faced the same obstacles: underfunding, bureaucratic delays, and shifting political priorities. The North-South Corridor, designed to link Lagos on the coast to Kano in the far north, was meant to be the backbone of the nation's economy, connecting industrial hubs, reducing road congestion, and revitalizing internal trade. Yet progress stalled time and again, until now. With China stepping back into the picture, the dream is suddenly back on track. The 203-kilometer Kano-Kaduna line is more than steel and concrete. It's part of a grander vision, a modern rail artery that would one day stretch from the Atlantic to the Sahara, transforming how goods and people move across the heart of West Africa. For ordinary Nigerians, it promises jobs, trade, and opportunity. For China, it represents something far greater: a foothold in Africa's most strategically vital economy, and another link in the expanding Belt and Road Initiative that already spans much of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. When the China Development Bank confirmed the loan, the announcement rippled through financial circles in Abuja, Beijing, and Washington. Global analysts recognized the pattern immediately. For years, Chinese state banks have funded African infrastructure, from ports in Djibouti to highways in Kenya and energy projects in Angola. But Nigeria is different. With over 220 million citizens and the largest GDP on the continent, its partnerships send powerful messages far beyond Africa's borders. What makes this deal remarkable isn't just its size, but its symbolism. After years of delay and dwindling support from Western lenders, Nigeria turned to China again, this time under new terms, and at a moment when global powers are competing fiercely for influence across the developing world. As the U.S. refocuses on domestic priorities and Europe tightens aid budgets, China's strategy is simple but effective: offer infrastructure in exchange for partnership, and let the results speak louder than rhetoric. For Nigeria's government, the deal is pragmatic. The Kano-Kaduna route, once complete, will connect the nation's agricultural and industrial north with Abuja and Lagos, slashing travel time and stimulating commerce. Thousands of jobs will emerge during construction. Local steel, cement, and logistics industries will see renewed demand. The economic argument is clear: this is development in motion. But critics, both at home and abroad, warn of potential pitfalls. Nigeria already owes China more than $5 billion, and some fear that deepening dependence could hand Beijing leverage over future policy decisions. Others point to examples elsewhere in Africa: Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, often cited, where infrastructure loans led to debt distress and controversial asset transfers. Nigerian officials, however, insist that the agreement is transparent, balanced, and fully under national control. For China, the project fits neatly into the next phase of the Belt and Road Initiative, where strategic partnerships, not just raw resources, are the currency of influence. Unlike earlier decades, when Africa was seen primarily as a supplier of oil, minerals, and agricultural commodities, today it represents a growing market, a political ally base, and a critical node in global logistics. Nigeria's rail line is not a gift, it's an investment that aligns with both sides' ambitions. Observers note that China's renewed engagement in Nigeria comes after a brief slowdown in lending across the continent. From 2017 to 2023, Chinese financing in Africa had dipped amid concerns about project viability and debt exposure. Yet in 2023, Beijing quietly ramped up again, approving more than $4.6 billion in new loans, a sign that its confidence in African markets is returning. The Kaduna deal marks a visible re-entry into one of Africa's biggest and most influential economies. There is also a geopolitical dimension. While Washington promotes debt transparency and the European Union rolls out its Global Gateway initiative, Beijing has chosen a different route: direct financing for tangible projects. In Africa, results matter. Trains that run, bridges that hold, and power plants that light homes speak louder than policy papers. Nigeria's leadership understands this, and in a nation eager for tangible progress, Chinese infrastructure partnerships have a strong appeal. The railway's economic potential is immense. Kano, a city once known as the commercial hub of the Sahel, has seen its trade corridors shrink over the years due to poor transport and insecurity. Kaduna, meanwhile, is a key industrial node linking the north to central Nigeria. With the new rail line, goods can move faster, farmers can access markets more efficiently, and regional commerce can expand beyond borders. China's involvement, though, extends beyond finance. The construction, managed by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, (SEC), will include technology transfer, workforce training, and localized supply chains. Nigerian engineers will work alongside Chinese counterparts, learning operational systems that could later be replicated across the country's expanding rail network. This cooperative approach, at least on paper, is a step towards sustainable capacity building rather than simple dependency. Still, skeptics remain cautious. Some economists warn that while infrastructure loans bring growth, they can also create debt cycles if revenue projections fail. The challenge for Nigeria will be ensuring the railway operates profitably, transporting both passengers and freight, so that loan repayments are sustainable. Others question whether the terms of the loan have been made fully public. Transparency, they argue, is key to maintaining public trust and avoiding accusations of hidden conditionalities. Yet, beyond the spreadsheets and contracts, there is an undeniable emotional resonance to what this rail line represents. For many Nigerians, it's about reclaiming momentum after years of stagnation. It's about seeing visible progress in a country often defined by potential rather than performance. For Africa at large, it's about demonstrating that global partnerships can be negotiated on terms of mutual interest, not merely charity or control. On the streets of Kano, market traders speculate how the new railway will transform business. Travel between cities that once took 6 hours on dangerous roads could soon take 2. Small businesses foresee new customers. Logistics firms anticipate expansion. Even cultural exchanges will benefit, as regions long divided by distance reconnect. In Abuja, policymakers hail the deal as a milestone in Nigeria's broader transport modernization agenda. Beyond the Kaduna stretch lies the vision of a seamless line from Lagos to Kano, an artery uniting the coast with the northern hinterlands, linking ports with markets, and reviving local economies in between. It's an audacious vision, but one that, with Chinese financing, seems within reach. Outside Africa, reactions have been mixed. Western analysts describe the loan as part of Beijing's soft power playbook, using infrastructure to expand diplomatic reach. African commentators counter that such narratives underestimate African agency. China is not forcing Nigeria to borrow, one Lagos-based economist said. Nigeria is choosing to partner because it sees value. That's a difference the West must learn to accept. The symbolism is powerful. For decades, African infrastructure was financed through Western institutions, World Bank programs, IMF credits, and bilateral aid. These projects often came with policy strings attached: privatization, austerity, or governance reforms. By contrast, Chinese loans, while not interest-free, tend to be less intrusive politically. This no-strings perception resonates strongly with African leaders seeking sovereignty over their development choices. Still, the Belt and Road Initiative is not without critics. Some argue that its long-term impact on African debt sustainability could become a ticking time bomb if economic returns don't materialize. Others contend that Chinese companies dominate contracts, limiting local economic spillover. Beijing, however, insists that its approach is based on win-win cooperation and cites the rapid completion of African projects as proof of effectiveness. As the steel rails snake across the Nigerian landscape, they tell a story that is both economic and existential. For the West, it's a wake-up call that the geopolitical chessboard has changed. For China, it's a testament to its enduring influence and strategic patience. For Nigeria, it's a moment of agency, a chance to decide its partners, its terms, and its future. At the same time, Africa's geopolitical map is being redrawn. From Ethiopia's Chinese-built industrial parks to Kenya's SGR line and now Nigeria's Northern Railway, a new continental infrastructure web is emerging. These connections are not just physical, they are diplomatic, technological, and psychological. They bind economies, create dependencies, and reshape alliances. But perhaps the most important perspective is local. For the worker laying tracks under the northern sun, for the trader waiting to send goods faster, for the student hoping to travel safely between cities, this is not about geopolitics. It's about opportunity. It's about dignity through development. And that's why the world is watching so closely. The question is not whether China's loan will change Nigeria. It already has. The question is how Nigeria will use this moment to define its next chapter, as a partner in progress or a pawn in global power play. In the years to come, the success or failure of this project will echo beyond Nigeria's borders. If it succeeds, it could prove that strategic partnerships, when managed transparently and pragmatically, can deliver transformative results. If it falters, it will serve as a cautionary tale of ambition colliding with debt. Either way, the world has been put on notice. Africa's age of quiet dependency is fading. A new age of competitive partnership has begun. The belts are tightening, but perhaps, this time, they're being fastened by African hands. From the vantage point of history, the image of a train gliding through Nigeria's northern plains may one day symbolize more than engineering success. It may mark the moment Africa's largest economy redefined its place in the world, a place no longer dictated by others, but negotiated on equal terms. The rails are being laid. The engines are ready. And as the dust rises over Kano and Kaduna, one truth becomes clear. The world's next great economic story is not being written in Washington, Beijing, or Brussels. It's being written right here, on African soil, 1 kilometer of track at a time. This is African Premium News, where Africa speaks for itself. Don't miss a story that matters. Click subscribe, ring that bell, and stay ahead of the headlines. Africa's future starts right here.